Okay.
Yeah, right
I
there.
was just going to say, Frida mentioned she was a friend of Doris's.
Uh-huh.
My husband was a classmate or pretty close to it. He graduated the year before she did, and she accompanied him. He also sang.
Oh.
Merlin Tridal, and
Oh.
so that's from way back.
Yeah. Oh, that's
He's
nice.
no longer living, but you
Yeah.
know, I just remember the name,
Yeah.
and I knew about that, and I know he had practiced with piano upstairs.
Oh.
So,
Aha.
You
At
must
least
be
that was an
Carolyn
excuse.
Price. All right, Carolyn.
Aha. The secret is out.
Here, she wins the hat.
She gets this.
Oh, okay.
We had a little contest on Facebook about who could guess what unusual thing was up in the living quarters of the depot. And only one person guessed it correctly, and that was Carolyn Tridal. So Carolyn, you get to receive a depot mug in honor of that.
It sounds like she had inside information, though.
Enjoy. Well, she did, but she was very discreet. She didn't.
And now you have a video.
now, I've never been up there, but he just told me.
Yes.
It's a,
Yes, she did. In high school, yeah. And then she went to University of Iowa and got a degree in home economics.
I have a picture of her in my.
Some of us like hot dogs.
Yearbook.
Oh,
But
cool.
somebody came to our house about 20 minutes to 7, and so I came out with the wrong yearbook.
Oh, and she's not in the one you brought?
We know that. Because she would have been a fresh junior.
Oh, okay, and she's not in the one you brought?
Anyway,
Ah,
wrong
okay.
book.
Well, if you think about it, maybe bring it up for Mary, and Mary can get a picture for us, and she can, send it to us, because she's got all of our information and stuff and everything.
Yeah, I'd be happy to do that.
Mary, can I real quick interject something?
Sure.
I'm Steve's best half, trust me. He and I dated all through high school, went our separate ways, and got married. We're coming up on 47 years of marriage. But anyway, this has come from his heart. You guys don't know how hard it's been. And without his sister and all the knowledge with the PowerPoint, because I hated PowerPoint. But we want to thank Mary and all of you folks for coming this evening and giving Steve your time, because it's really meant a lot to him and our family. We've been lucky to have Jim and his wife Linda. Jim is 14 months younger than Steve.
but so much more mature.
And we're glad that they
Stick glasses.
came from Waverly, Nebraska. And I have to just side note, my cousin Audrey and her husband Bug, they came over from Boyden, which I know that's not that far, but still, I appreciate them coming. And Mary, we cannot thank you enough. We cannot thank you enough.
In a minute.
Give me the cue.
Yes,
May
Don,
I add a little bit of history for this family?
please. This is Don Gregerson.
Most of you know me. I'm Don Gregerson from Arms Park.
Okay.
And my grandfather came from Sweden to Worthington, Minnesota. He spent the rest of his life working on the railroad at Worthington. My question is, why isn't there one of the old railroad hats with the shoestring in the front in this display somewhere? That I never understood.
Grandpa's hat.
It's like he had it in old hats with shoestrings on the front of them. Years later, I found out I was holding earmuffs off. Here's an interesting point for me. My father was fire chief. I was on the fire department. Early 1950s, we got a call, derailment in Arnold Park, Iowa, and the engine's on fire.
No.
Steam engine. Right east of where the old Methodist church was, at the bottom of that intersection where Cap's Tackle Shop was on the highway, and here lay the steam engine on its side beside the railroad track. We got the call, get there, the thing's on fire. how do you burn up a steel-made engine? We got there and there's nothing but steam in the air and everybody assumed it was a fire. My job was to comfort the people that were afraid they were going to burn up. Dad was in charge of trying to get help for the engineer and the guy that was in, because I don't remember there being a boxcar with him.
Wow.
So that was, and the excuse afterwards was that there was ice at the intersection that caused the derailment.
Oh.
And I cannot imagine ice causing a big engine like that to fall off the tracks. I think there was something else involved. About 3 years later, I'm standing on the beach at our resort, and there's people lined up on every end of the trestle fishing. All those overhangs, they'd walk out on the grade, or on the tracks, get down there and set and fish for panfish. At that time, it was a diesel engine coming up, and at the south end of the trestle, there's a big sign, no fishing, keep off, or something like that. And that's where the last telephone pole was on the tracks on that side. How they got the transmitter to work after that, I don't know. But he heard this engine just laying on that diesel horn. And finally, he had to come to almost a stop. Fishermen were mad, the engineer was upset. And as he's moving along very slowly, all of a sudden, someone falls off the track into the lake. I'm standing there and I see this. What in the heck was that? That looked like a boy, a little boy. And all of a sudden, the guy on the next set of posts jumps in the lake to retrieve the little boy. On the other end of the steel part of the trestle, the third guy leaning out to see what was going on fell. One of our boats brought the little boy back with a split forehead. We had to get into Marcus Snyder to get stitched up. There was almost a fight on the bridge between the engineer and several of the fishermen. But there was a sign that said, keep off, no trespassing, or something like that. So that was my interest in Milwaukee. This is a little bit of history that your family probably knows about.
Thank you for sharing.
Well, I'd like to thank Steve and Sandy and Paulette for going to all the effort. They drove up from Urbandale to do this. And I know they've put a lot of time into this presentation, and it's been so fun to talk back and forth with them and to hear the stories about this magnificent building that we have here that, was a real living, breathing depot for so long. It's really brought it home to me that this is much more than a building. So you two also received depot mugs in thanks. It doesn't come close to all the time you spent, but just know how much we appreciate and appreciate the ongoing relationship with you and your families to know more about our depot.
We got mugged at the depot.
Yeah. Two other announcements. One is, if you feel so moved, we do have some donation boxes. We suggest a $5 donation. If that doesn't work out, that's great. It just helps these programs keep going on. Our next program will be October 27th. It's a Thursday evening, and it will be featuring Jonathan Reed. And Jonathan, would you like to tell what the name is?
No, I won't tell you what the name is, but it's going to be about the changes of Uptown Arnold's Park over the years. It wasn't always just our road. There was a lot of business that went on there.
It was a real community.
A real community, imagine that.
Yeah. So thank you again for coming tonight. Anything else? Gail and Sue will be passing out museum brochures as you leave, and within that are membership forms. If you would like to become a supporting member of the of the museum and aren't yet, there's a form there, just fill it out and send it in with a check, and voila, you'll be a member. So thank you again for coming tonight, and we look forward to seeing you in October.
Thank you.